It's Ports a Call waterfront dining, award-winning service and cuisine with a view of the dynamic L.A. harbor from every seat. For reservations and directions, visit portsacalldining.com or call 310-833-3553. All right, it's Phil Hulett and Friends. Gonzo Greg is here. I'm Phil. How's it going? Nice to see you.
Hey, how's it going there?
Yeah. You've seen those TV shows, there's a bunch of them, where people flip houses, right? Looks pretty tempting, but it also looks hard. I like those shows for another reason, too, and maybe you're like me, I get ideas for my house when I see the upgrades that they do. Anyway, joining us is one of those guys who would always bring the bad news to the house flippers. We found the dry rot in the kitchen, or it's going to cost you another $5,000 to fix. You've seen him on HGTV's Flip or Flop. He's remodeled hundreds of homes in Southern California's Orange County. He's a general contractor at Cornerstone Property Services. Steve Cederquist, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me, Phil.
Now, flipping houses is not for amateurs, is it?
No, it's not. You really got to do your homework before you get into the business. I think that's the problem we're having right now with so many people thinking they're flippers.
Yeah, I mean, a lot can go wrong, right?
Yeah, I mean, people go to a seminar and they see the big allure of big dollars and they don't do their homework, and next thing you know, you get a can of worms.
Yeah, and you're out there competing with people who are real pros at it too. They know exactly what they're doing.
So should you maybe look out for those signs on the lamp, the signpost that say "Flip houses, make millions"? That might not be all on the up and up, maybe, right?
Yeah, I think the people that are making the millions are the people putting on the seminars.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Especially those signs you see on the light post are usually drawn with crayons for some reason.
Yeah, markers or whatever.
Now let's agree you need a good contractor working with you, because unless you are that contractor, you can't expect to fix everything in the house that you want to flip that's broken. Am I right?
Well, I mean, you got to go in with open eyes. You got to, the best thing to do, I always recommend to all my clients and even myself is, you go in, you look at the house prior, get a good home inspection.
Yeah.
That way you know what you're looking at and what your rental cost is going to be.
A home inspection is going to cost you, what, $400 or $500?
Yeah, it's better than spending $50,000 on something you didn't know about.
I guess that's a good way to look at it. But people look at that $400 or $500 and they think, oh, that's a lot of money. And they just put the inevitable off into the back of their mind somewhere, and it's going to come and smack you in the face eventually. Now, every house flipping show does this, and the one that you were on does this as well. And they buy the house, the flippers buy the house cheap, under market, in an auction or whatever it is. They get a house, and then you get to see it. They walk around, and it's a disaster zone on the inside. Clearly a lot of work. And then you, or whoever the contractor is, after taking a look, says, okay, we'll fix this. But then while you're digging in, you find other things.
Like the raccoons?
Yeah, the raccoons in the air ducts. And everything's got to be replaced. And while you're replacing that, you find something else. And then you realize...
The creepy guy living in the attic.
Yeah.
Didn't know about that guy.
And the whole house is going to fall off the foundation if we don't do another $10,000 worth of work. And so name some of the weird things that you've found.
I think you guys have been to my houses. We've actually found live raccoons, and we have found creepy guys in the attic.
You have? Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's been weird things. I did a house on Long Beach last year. I walked in it, and there was people doing drugs, shooting up, doing drugs. I was like,
wow.
Yeah, you got to go.
You need hazard pay for this, huh?
I was. Please take your needles and everything with you.
Yeah, right. But you know what? People like the old, charming houses. The houses that were built, around the turn of the 20th century. And there's a lot of those here, all over the country for that matter. But, your work is mostly in Southern California. And you have towns like, there's the city of Orange in Orange County. And the place is filled with homes that were built in the 1910s and 1920s. And they get a fair amount of money for that. But they're all made of wood, and wood that was installed in the 1920s. And so what kind of problems do you expect when you walk into a house like that? Sure, it's charming. It's in a nice college neighborhood, but you're going to have some problems, right?
Yeah, you definitely end up with a lot of termite damage, a lot, tons of woodwork, and then you've got the lead-based issues. especially in downtown Orange, you've got to be really careful because you've got the EPA office down there.
Oh.
And they don't like traveling too far, so they'll walk out. Any kind of historic home that's more historic,
yeah,
you have to treat those a lot, differently. You can't really change the layout. Everything has to go back to original and all that.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a problem. It's difficult. And then what I like to do when if I'm looking at houses, and I've done that just for fun because I've never been in a position to buy anything really other than my house, but I like bringing a marble with me and just sticking it on the floor and see if it takes off on its own.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
We have a lot of those houses. Yeah.
They're not really level after a while, are they?
It's funny. I do the same thing. I actually use a marble.
You do?
Yeah. I actually a big steel one. Yeah. And because I got all these guys that came out with these laser levels, and I'm like, you know what? I'm a little old school. Put the marble and see where it goes.
Yeah. You go into some houses too, and they've got the, they've got the walls, and maybe they've got the plaster walls, and you're walking around. Here's a nice house, but you know what? I didn't notice until just now, but there's cracks all over the walls, big cracks. And it seems to me like maybe depending on what the house was built on, the ground is always settling and things are shifting, and there might be some real expensive things to fix when you get in if you see cracks. Is that a big sign, a big red flag if you see big cracks in the walls?
Well, if they're big cracks, yeah. But if they're minor cracks, it's we live in earthquake country, and also with all the water shortages, how the water tables are down, and the ground kind of giving way a little bit.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's just part of it.
Why do contractors get a bad rap? Dishonest, lazy, don't pay attention to the details, deflect attention from their job by bad-mouthing the jobs other contractors have done. All those things,
You mean my competition? No.
Yeah.
You know what? I always tell people, you know what, when it's just like buying a car. You got to do your homework.
Yeah.
You got to look, go to check the license first with the CSLB, see if they have anything against them. See if they're licensed, insured, and making sure that, check their references.
Uh-huh.
That's important. I mean, I tell people all the time, you want a list of my last 10 jobs? Call them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not always a love relationship. I mean, people, that's why I don't do insurance work. I prefer to do remodels because, people are planning it. They want it.
Yeah.
Insurance work, it's angry work.
Oh, yeah.
They're pissed.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, they're unplanned remodels. They're unhappy. They hate you.
They're not invested emotionally.
They're not invested emotionally. And it usually leaves on a bad note, know?
Yeah. Are there any craftsmen out there anymore?
There are a few. Most of my guys have been with me for 15 plus years, and they're good guys. But yeah, everybody that I know, a lot of my friends in the trade, it's the challenge we all face right now. I sat in front of I was at Kohler in Wisconsin, and I sat at a boardroom table with David Kohler and about 4 others. They said, well, what's the problem, with you guys have out there? I said, you guys need to create training centers because we're teaching all our kids, go to college, do this and this. But wait, tell them to be a plumber. Tell them to be a carpenter.
Yeah.
And show them and get these training centers going.
Yeah. I want to ask you about prices in a moment because I don't know how the prices are set for certain things. If you can hang out there just for another moment, because I want to ask about that. And I got a couple of other things, too, because we just rebuilt our house, and there was a lot of eyeballing going on, while they're building stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, just eyeball it. Yeah, it looks straight to me. Okay, nail it in. Here's a great idea for your next outing. A cruise of the L.A. Harbor on a Spirit Cruises yacht. Spirit Cruises offers everything you need to relax and enjoy your time on the water. For more information, call 310-548-8080 or visit spiritmarine.com. Hi, it's Phil. Gonzo's here, and we're talking with Steve Cederquist about houses, about flipping houses, about contractors, and he's got his own contracting business here in Southern California where we are, and hundreds of houses. Is that right? Hundreds of houses you've worked on or remodeled or done some kind of construction work. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you charge just whatever you want, right?
$1 million.
Well, if they make me come in with a bra, then it's different. I was listening to the segment earlier, and I had to touch on that. I'll dress up for you. If you want me to charge me a little more, I'll come in with a little grass skirt on and a little hula thing.
Yeah. I mean, how do you know what things are supposed to cost, really?
Well, it's just, again, you have to go in and ask what they want.
Is there a standard markup? Because you could probably, as a homeowner, I could probably look up and see what the price of timber is, for instance, and see what nails cost. and then factor in whatever the going rate is for labor. And I can come up with, after putting in an appropriate amount of profit in there, I could probably come up with an estimate myself. However, it's going to be a lot lower than the estimate the contractor is going to come up with. So, how much negotiation do you get into, or people just accept what you say is the price?
I don't negotiate. I come in. I think our prices are fair. I don't. I'm not trying to make my retirement off one job. I think we're fair in our pricing. I mean, we have industry standards, and we use estimating programs.
Oh, there are industry standards.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we meet, and we actually, a lot of our guys, and we meet in our collective groups, and we talk about our pricing and kind of where we need to be. And I mean, what people don't take in consideration is workers' comp. I mean, you can run down to Home Depot and pick up somebody to help you out. But
right.
I just ran into a job I did for a lady, and she wanted to make sure. I mean, she was really emphatic, like, you're licensed and bonded and insured. I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, here, check.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just got sued. I go, what happened? She goes, I picked up somebody from Home Depot.
Yeah.
One of the labor guys hanging out there in the parking lot. Took him home. He fell off my balcony and broke his leg and sued me for $50,000.
Oh man.
Yeah. So you run that chance if you don't hire somebody who's licensed and insured. And as you know, in California, it's extremely expensive for workers' comp and all that stuff.
Yeah, it is. We just 2 years ago, we completely rebuilt our house. And
you didn't call me.
No, I didn't know at the time. I should have. I mean, they did a good job. The workers were all great. The contractor was good, and the price was reasonable based on what we were able to research. But here's the thing. After you live in the house for a while, you start noticing things that you would never have known to ask about on the front end. Little ergonomic things. Like you walk in a room and you instinctively reach to one side of the door for the light switch, but it's all the way over there on the other side. And then you walk around into the bathroom and you think, gosh, I wish there was a light switch here. Or in the kitchen, man, I wish there was an outlet right here. Or little things that you don't notice until you live in the house for a while. I just call them ergonomic things. And you would think the contractor, after building a certain number of homes, would have a sense of those types of things. But maybe not. Maybe it's a personal preference deal. And you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe you're just a weirdo, Phil. Maybe you just have some sort of odd OCD kind of thing going on. Maybe
you know what? There's a flow in the house. Like if you walk into the master bedroom and the bathroom is to the right of the double doors. You did the master bedroom right, so you've got the nice master suite and all of that. So the natural flow is you walk into the bedroom, you're going to walk in the direction of the suite, the bathroom, shower, tub area. Mm-hmm. And so it just seems to me like if you walk to the right in the flow, that the light switch would be on the right.
It should be. It should have been.
But see, you would have known that. That's what I'm asking.
We're a little different. We're design build, so we actually have a designer. We do all of our own drawings. We do everything, and it's so funny because and it happens. I had a client come in today. I just finished an amazing 3,000 square foot house.
Yeah.
And exactly that happened.
Mm-hmm.
The electrical plans showed the light switches here, but the carpenter came in and put the door behind the switches.
Oh, yeah.
And I caught it. We walked in on the final walk, and I'm like, why are the switches behind the door?
Yeah.
It's not, we don't want switches
and
behind
the walls
the door.
and everything was in, the mud, the whole deal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So now you got to rip it out and do it over?
No, we just move the wires over and, put them on the other side of the door where you want them when you walk in and turn the switch on.
Right.
But yeah, ergonomics, and, I think it's important. And, we look at things like that. We look at your personal needs. Like if you come home, are you the type that unloads your wallet and keys and phone in one area?
Yeah.
We put in a wall niche, and we put in a charging station where you can put your iPad.
Oh, see, that's smart.
Yeah, it's the way to go. It's kind of the way of doing things. Always think of the customer first.
I like that. What does a homeowner do? Let's say they're midway through the project, and maybe you've gotten some of these calls. They're not happy with their contractor. Things are going south midway through the project, and then they call you up and see if you could come in because they just fired the guy. Mm-hmm. And I guess you could do that. I've never had to do that, but I imagine bad things can happen, and you get rid of your contractor, and then you get the call. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, and you got to come in and clean up the gig and take over and see the project through, and maybe correct a bunch of the problems that the first guy made. Does that happen a lot?
All the time.
Yeah?
All the time. I probably get maybe 2 a month that I do.
Wow.
I did. I just did one in Newport Beach where the contractor was. horrible, you know. And I even tried reaching out to the guy. I said, "Dude, your work's horrible. You need to come back." And then he was all screaming at me, and he was all mad at me, thinking, "You're going to put me on TV and make me look like an ass." And I said, "You kind of did that yourself." I said, "But I'm not. You know, I have no intentions of doing that. I'm just trying to give you an opportunity." But no, I went and fixed everything. I mean, it cost her like an extra $60,000. But
wow.
I mean, it was everything was bad.
Yeah, but
bad.
But she'd have to live with that, and over time, that $60,000 is going to be, you know, it's money well spent, because you're going to have to live with the problems if you don't spend the money.
Yeah, she would have had a lot of problems had she not called us.
Yeah. Now you're not on TV now, are you?
I'm doing a lot of reruns. I was on last night. I air. When they do the marathons and reruns and pre-shows, they always have us on. So I probably air...
Flip or Flop, right, on HGTV?
I air probably 2 times a week, 3 or 4 episodes.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
And is there something in the works? We're going to see you on a new show one of these days?
Yeah, we're actually in production right now for a new show. We're doing a new design build show. Oh. And it's based in Orange County. Yeah. For now. I mean, we're thinking about other areas as well. Yeah. But primarily like, you know, beachfront homes, more, you know, just nicer homes. Just something... You know, just it kind of makes it a little bit more inviting when you look out and you got the ocean to look at, or the nice harbor to look at.
Back in the 60s, when my dad was looking for a house to raise his family, he didn't want to buy near the beach. And I was asking him about that later when I started thinking about houses and location and all that sort of thing. He said, never buy near the beach. I said, why is that, Dad? He said, the sea air, you're going to have to paint your house every year.
Yeah.
And that's a good reason not to buy a house that's going to appreciate it 200% faster than the other houses around, right?
I agree. A little paint.
How do folks get a hold of you?
They call us. Just call our office.
Name of the company again is?
Cornerstone Property Services, Inc.
All right. There we go. Mr. Cederquist, a pleasure to have you on the program,
Thank
sir.
you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it.
All right.